The Amish are known for being self-sufficient, but there are 10 items they refuse to buy at the store, even though they need them. Why? Because they make these things themselves, and it's a simple choice that saves them more than you might expect. The battle between IKEA and Amish furniture isn't just about wood and nails, it's a showdown between instant gratification and lasting legacy. While IKEA's particle board empire dominates city apartments, it wouldn't stand a chance in Amish country. There's something almost comical about imagining an IKEA catalog landing on an Amish family's doorstep. Assembly required? We've been assembling furniture before your founder was born. Amish craftsmen don't just build furniture, they create future family heirlooms using techniques that have stood the test of time. Each piece tells a story through its dovetail joints, wooden pegs, and mortise and tenon connections, methods that laugh in the face of those tiny Allen wrenches IKEA provides. The wood itself comes from local forests, carefully selected and dried, unlike the mass-produced boards that travel halfway around the world. You might wonder about the price tag. An Amish dining table could set you back $1,800, while IKEA's version might cost $450. But here's where math gets interesting. That Amish table will host 50 years of family dinners, while you'll probably replace your IKEA table 2 times in a decade. My neighbor Jim jokes that his IKEA bookshelf has a shorter lifespan than his goldfish, but his grandfather's Amish-made dresser is still going strong after 4 generations. While they invest heavily in quality wood and craftsmanship for tables that last generations, they save big by mixing their own animal feed from homegrown ingredients. Ever wonder what keeps Amish livestock so healthy and robust? It's not some fancy commercial feed with unpronounceable ingredients. It's their homemade animal feed that's been perfected through generations of farming wisdom. Amish farmers create custom blends for each type of animal, mixing different grains and natural ingredients that would make modern feed companies scratch their heads in amazement. Take their chicken feed, for example. While commercial farms pump their birds full of processed feed with artificial additives, Amish chickens feast on a royal buffet of cracked corn, wheat, oats, and fresh kitchen scraps. These happy hens even get special treats like sprouted grains in winter, keeping them healthy when the snow's piling up outside. As for their loyal farm dogs, they're treated to a hearty mix of ground meat, vegetables, and grains. No artificial preservatives or mystery meat byproducts here. The savings are pretty eye-opening too. A typical Amish family with 50 chickens saves around $800 annually by making their own feed compared to buying commercial options. For their cattle, the savings jump to nearly $2,000 per year per cow. One Amish farmer chuckled while telling me, "The only thing our animals are addicted to is good old-fashioned natural food." But it's not just about saving money. By creating their own feed, Amish farmers stay independent from big agricultural companies and their ever-rising prices. They store their grains in traditional wooden silos or cool, dry cellars, ensuring they have enough feed year-round. Even kitchen scraps find their way into the animal feed. Those carrot tops and apple cores that most people toss out become valuable nutrients for their livestock. The results speak for themselves: healthier animals, better quality meat and eggs, and significant cost savings. It's no wonder their livestock seems to thrive generation after generation. This natural approach to animal care is just one example of how the Amish community maintains its independence from modern commercial products. When most of us get a headache, we immediately reach for those store-bought painkillers. But in Amish communities, you'll find a completely different approach, one that's been working without racking up pharmacy bills. Their medicine cabinets look more like herb gardens, and their remedies come from nature rather than a pharmaceutical lab. The Amish have mastered the art of using simple, natural ingredients to tackle common ailments. Got a nasty cough that won't quit? Instead of spending $6 on cough syrup, they'll whip up a mixture of local honey, lemon, and herbs that costs mere pennies. A typical Amish family saves around $700 yearly by using these natural alternatives for basic health needs. One Amish grandmother laughed as she told me, "Why would I pay $20 for something to help me sleep when chamomile grows right in my garden?" Their herbal wisdom is particularly impressive when it comes to everyday remedies. Elderberry syrup, a powerful immune booster, costs about $15 for a tiny bottle at health food stores. Meanwhile, Amish families make their own from berries they've harvested, spending just dollars for a season's worth. Peppermint isn't just for tea. They use it for everything from upset stomachs to headache relief, growing it abundantly in their gardens. Even their first aid supplies tell a story of self-reliance. While we might spend $30 on antiseptic cream, they use honey for minor cuts and burns, nature's own antibacterial agent. Aloe vera plants grow in their windows, providing instant free relief for kitchen burns and sun-touched skin. An Amish medicine cabinet might include yarrow for bleeding, plantain for insect bites, and calendula for skin irritations, all grown at home for practically nothing. Their approach to wellness isn't just about saving money, it's about understanding how nature provides what we need. This same principle of self-sufficiency extends into every aspect of their lives, especially when it comes to keeping their families warm and cozy through long winter nights. In a world where designer bedding sets can drain your wallet faster than a broken pipe, Amish families have mastered the art of creating beautiful, lasting bedding that gets passed down through generations, just like their cherished recipes. Imagine paying almost $100 for a mass-produced comforter that might last 2 years before showing wear. Meanwhile, Amish families create quilts that could easily fetch $1,000 in boutique stores, spending only about $75 on materials. As one Amish quilter joked, "Our quilts don't just cover beds, they cover generations of family stories, and they're a lot cheaper." They hand-stitch pillowcases, sheets, and mattress covers using durable cotton and wool that outlast any department store offerings. One Amish grandmother proudly showed me a quilt she made 30 years ago that still looks fresh enough for a magazine cover, while her neighbor's store-bought comforter barely survived 3 washing cycles. The real magic happens in their quilting circles, where women gather to create masterpieces while sharing life wisdom. Young girls start learning by threading needles and graduate to more complex stitching patterns. These skills become their inheritance, more valuable than any store-bought bedding could ever be. Each quilt tells a story through its pattern. The double wedding ring for marriages, the 9 patch for good fortune, the log cabin for home and hearth. And speaking of home, these same hands that craft beautiful quilts are equally skilled at creating something else essential for every household using only simple ingredients. The only product we'll ever promote on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, a veteran prepper, about 126 superfoods and preservation methods from crisis times like the Great Depression and wartime that are impossible to find elsewhere. We decided to promote his book because we are the last generation able to share these techniques and superfoods to our children or grandchildren. It would be a shame to see this information about highly nutritious foods and preservation methods to survive crises disappear. You can also find a book about herbal remedies from Nicole Apelian on their store. If you're watching this on TV, you can look up our channel, Frugal Solutions, on your phone or tablet and find the books by clicking the link in our channel description or any other video description. Who knew that keeping clean could cost so much? While most of us load our shopping carts with expensive cleaning products, the Amish have been quietly saving money by making their own soaps and cleaners. Their traditional lye soap isn't just a quaint throwback. It's a powerhouse of cleaning that costs pennies compared to modern alternatives. Let's break down the fascinating science behind their soap making. When lye meets fat in the right proportions, a chemical reaction called saponification creates something magical. The process might sound complicated, but as one Amish woman put it, "If my great-grandmother could make soap without a chemistry degree, anyone can." A typical batch of Amish lye soap costs around $3 to make and yields 10 bars. Compare that to those fancy natural soap bars at the store that cost $12 each. You're looking at savings of nearly $117 per batch. Their laundry soap recipe is another money-saving marvel. While many households spend upwards of $20 per month on laundry detergent, Amish families make their own for about $2 per gallon. One Amish mother chuckled as she shared, "The only thing that gets cleaned out with store-bought detergent is your wallet." A year's worth of homemade laundry soap costs them around $24, compared to the $240 many families spend on commercial brands. The real genius lies in their multi-purpose approach. Their basic lye soap serves as hand soap, shampoo, dish soap, and even pet shampoo. While modern households might have 15 different cleaning products under their sink, Amish families get by with just 4 or 5 homemade solutions. The process of making these cleaning products becomes a practical lesson for their children too. Young ones learn about measurements, chemical reactions, and the value of self-sufficiency, all while helping to create the products their family uses daily. These lessons in resourcefulness extend far beyond just cleaning supplies, particularly when it comes to supplying their families with fresh food. In the world of dairy, the Amish have come up some impressive savings while producing butter and cheese that would make artisanal shops green with envy. Their approach to dairy production isn't just old-fashioned. It's a masterclass in economic efficiency that modern homesteaders are scrambling to replicate. Take butter churning, for example. While store-bought organic butter costs around $7 per pound, Amish families produce their own for roughly $1.50 per pound. With an average family using about 8 pounds of butter monthly, they're saving nearly $528 annually on butter alone. As one Amish farmer quipped, "Our butter doesn't just spread on bread, it spreads our dollars further." Their cheese-making prowess tells an equally impressive story. With proper aging techniques passed down through generations, their cheeses develop complex flavors that fancy cheese shops can only dream of replicating. One particularly witty Amish cheesemaker told me, "The only culture in our cheese is bacterial, not the overpriced kind you find in city stores." The savings multiply when you consider their dairy preservation methods. While modern families might throw out milk approaching its expiration date, Amish households transform it into yogurt, cottage cheese, or even long-lasting hard cheese. A gallon of milk that costs $4 can become $20 worth of dairy products. Their secret? Understanding the entire dairy process, from caring for the cows to creating the final product. Storage solutions showcase their practical ingenuity too. Instead of expensive refrigeration, many Amish families use spring houses or cool cellars to store their dairy products. These natural cooling methods, combined with traditional preservation techniques, mean their products often last longer than commercial alternatives. One Amish grandmother boasted that her homemade butter stays fresh for weeks in her spring house, while her neighbor's store-bought butter spoils in their electric refrigerator. The best part? Their dairy products come from happy, grass-fed cows that spend their days grazing on chemical-free pastures. No artificial hormones, no mysterious additives, just pure natural dairy that costs a fraction of what you'd pay for organic labels in stores. A typical Amish family with one dairy cow saves around $2,400 annually on dairy products compared to buying them from the store. This same attention to quality and cost saving extends beyond their dairy to another essential aspect of Amish life, their clothing. But that's a story that's sewn together with equally impressive skill and savings. While most of us are chasing the latest fashion trends and emptying our wallets at department stores, Amish families are quietly mastering the art of sustainable clothing production. Their approach to making clothes isn't just about maintaining tradition. It's a brilliant example of how handmade clothing can outlast and outperform mass-produced fashion while keeping money in their pockets. In an Amish household, creating clothing is a practical skill learned from childhood. Young girls and boys watch their parents transform simple fabric into durable garments using manual sewing machines or sometimes just needle and thread. A typical Amish dress costs around $20 in materials and will last for years, compared to a similar store-bought dress that might cost $60 and wear out within months. One Amish mother laughed when she saw a vintage-inspired dress in a store window priced at $200. "We've been making these for generations, and we've never charged that much for looking plain." Their sewing techniques focus on durability rather than fast fashion. Double-stitch seams, reinforced stress points, and carefully chosen fabrics mean their clothes can withstand years of daily wear. An Amish-made shirt might take 3 hours to complete, but it will last 5 times longer than its mass-produced counterpart. The fabric choices themselves reflect their practical wisdom. Cotton for summer breathing, wool for winter warmth, and sturdy denims for workwear, each selected for its durability and function rather than passing trends. They often buy fabric in bulk, saving significantly on material costs. A bolt of quality cotton fabric might cost $50 but will yield several garments, bringing the cost per item down to a fraction of store-bought clothing. Perhaps most impressive is their repair culture. While many of us throw away clothes at the first sign of wear, Amish families extend their garments' life through careful mending and creative repurposing. Children's clothes are designed with extra seam allowance for growth, and outgrown items are transformed into quilting squares or smaller garments for younger siblings. The yearly clothing budget for an Amish family of 6 averages just $800, a figure that would barely cover 2 months of clothing expenses for a typical American family. This thriftiness carries over into every aspect of their domestic life, especially when it comes to preserving the bounty of their gardens. Their kitchens tell another fascinating story of savings, where jars of homemade preserves line the shelves. In an age where artisanal jam jars command premium prices at farmers markets, the Amish have been quietly perfecting the art of preservation for generations. Their approach to making jams and preserves isn't just about saving summer's bounty. It's a masterclass in turning seasonal abundance into year-round savings that would make any budget-conscious shopper jealous. Walk into an Amish kitchen during preserving season, and you'll find a well-orchestrated family operation. Children pick fresh berries from the garden, while parents prepare canning equipment that's been in the family longer than their marriage. Making preserves is a multi-generational activity where youngsters learn by watching and helping, just as their parents did years before. One Amish father chuckled as his daughter carefully filled jars with strawberry jam. She's not just preserving fruit, she's preserving our way of life, one jar at a time. The economics tell an impressive story. A typical Amish family processes around 300 jars of various preserves annually, saving nearly $1,200 compared to store-bought alternatives. Their secret? Using simple ingredients and time-tested methods that maximize every harvest. While fancy grocery stores charge $8 for a jar of organic raspberry jam, an Amish family makes the same amount for roughly 75 cents using berries from their garden and basic canning supplies. But it's not just about jams and jellies. Their preservation methods extend to everything their gardens produce. Pickled vegetables, apple butter, preserved peaches, each jar represents both food security and financial savings. An Amish grandmother shared her wisdom. Store-bought preserves might save time, but homemade preserves save money and memories. The difference in taste is remarkable too. Mass-produced preserves often rely on artificial pectin and preservatives, while Amish versions use natural fruit pectin and time-honored techniques. The variety in their pantries is astounding. Beyond the usual strawberry and grape jams, you'll find unique combinations like dandelion jelly, spiced pear butter, and zucchini preserves. These creative concoctions help prevent waste and provide variety throughout the year. As one Amish preserver noted with a grin, "We were into food preservation before it was cool. Actually, we keep it cool in the cellar." Their practical approach to food preservation represents a stark contrast to our modern buy-it-when-you-need-it mentality. By investing time during harvest season, Amish families ensure their pantries remain stocked through winter without relying on expensive store-bought alternatives. This self-sufficient mindset extends beyond their kitchen shelves to another essential aspect of their homes, one that brings warmth and light to their evenings. In a world obsessed with LED lights and smart home technology, the Amish create ambiance the old-fashioned way, through handmade candles that serve both practical and economic purposes. Their candle-making tradition isn't just about lighting up rooms, it's about crafting sustainable, cost-effective alternatives to modern lighting that would make any electric bill look wasteful. The process starts with natural materials, primarily beeswax or tallow, rather than the petroleum-based paraffin found in store-bought candles. A pound of beeswax, costing around $8, can produce approximately 10 candles. The same number of natural beeswax candles would cost nearly $60 at a specialty store. One Amish candle maker smiled as he dipped wicks into melted wax. "People pay extra for natural candles these days. We've been making them naturally since before natural was fashionable." Each Amish household typically makes around 150 candles annually, saving approximately $600 compared to buying similar quality candles. But the real value lies in their multi-purpose nature. These candles don't just illuminate, they also provide gentle heating during winter evenings and naturally purify the air, thanks to the beeswax's unique properties. The scents of their candles come from natural sources, herbs from their gardens, pure essential oils, or simply the sweet smell of beeswax. No artificial fragrances mean fewer headaches and better air quality. One Amish grandmother quipped, The only thing artificial about our candles is how artificially low the price is compared to store-bought ones. This self-sufficient approach to lighting their homes reflects a broader philosophy that touches every aspect of Amish life, perhaps most notably in how they handle something many of us take for granted: transportation. But their solution to getting around might just be the most fascinating example of savings yet. While modern families struggle with car payments and rising gas prices, Amish communities maintain a transportation system that costs a fraction of what we spend on our vehicles. The craftsmanship behind these buggies is remarkable. Each one takes a skilled craftsman nearly 30 days to build. The frame, crafted from hardy oak or ash wood, supports a design that's been perfected over centuries. One Amish buggy maker laughed as he worked. "Our vehicles might be horse-powered, but they never need an oil change." A new custom buggy costs around $8,000, a significant investment that pays off over its 20-plus year lifespan. Let's break down the annual costs. Maintaining a buggy runs about $500. Horse feed is minimal since most families grow their own hay and grain, and basic horse care averages $400 yearly. Compare that to modern car ownership. Between car payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance, and registration fees, the average American spends over $9,000 annually on their vehicle. As one Amish father noted, "The only traffic jam our horse gets into is when he stops to eat grass." The savings are even more impressive when you consider the long-term costs. A well-maintained buggy can serve a family for over 2 decades with minimal repairs. The horses themselves often work for 15 to 20 years, and their fuel comes straight from Amish fields. Plus, there's no need for expensive insurance policies or annual registration fees. One Amish builder calculated that over 20 years, a family saves nearly $160,000 by using a buggy instead of a car. But it's not just about money. These buggies represent a sustainable transportation solution that leaves virtually no carbon footprint. The horses providing the power are part of the family, and their emissions become fertilizer for next year's crops. The only real downside? Sometimes our commute takes a bit longer. An Amish teenager grinned. But that just gives us more time to enjoy the scenery. This practical approach to transportation perfectly exemplifies the Amish way of life, choosing solutions that are sustainable, economical, and built to last. By maintaining these traditions while adapting them to modern safety standards, they've created a system that works just as well today as it did a century ago. Their success in balancing tradition with practicality shows that sometimes the old ways aren't just cheaper, they're better.